Have you ever stopped and wondered, is what we're pursuing truly health or just an overly idealized image? In a world where appearance can be easily altered with a few clicks, where social media constantly sets new standards for the ideal body, a solution emerges with an alluring promise. You can change how you look without drastically altering yourself, and from there, things begin to change. People who once spread messages of self-acceptance suddenly appear with different looks. Familiar images gradually become more perfect, leading many to wonder, are we getting closer to true self-confidence, or are we simply being swept away by a new, more subtle and harder to recognize standard? In this video, we'll take a look back at the whole picture, from the alluring promises to the less discussed aspects, to better understand what's really going on behind the so-called body transformation solution. Chrissy Metz's story makes many people pause and reflect, not because of the hype or controversy, but because of the way she chooses to confront herself. For years, Chrissy hasn't just talked about body confidence. She truly lives that message, especially through her role as Kate in This Is Us. Her character doesn't simply represent a plus-size body, but carries very real stories about love, family, deep-seated wounds, and a journey of self-discovery. For many viewers, it's a rare occasion where they see themselves reflected authentically and emotionally on screen. In real life, Chrissy maintains that same sincerity. She shares her personal journey through her memoir, frequently talks about learning to accept herself, and constantly strives to improve her health. By 2025, the change is more evident than ever. Chrissy appeared with a noticeably different look, and many sources reported she had lost nearly 45 kilograms. The story quickly spread, becoming a widely discussed topic. But what truly made her journey special wasn't the numbers or her appearance, but how she faced it all. Chrissy didn't shy away from attention, nor did she choose silence. She candidly shared that this was just part of her self-care journey, and she supports any choice that helps people feel healthier, both physically and mentally. At the same time, she affirmed that her belief in body confidence remained unchanged. Even as her body changed daily, it was this clarity and honesty that gave her story its power. No rambling explanations, no avoidance or evasiveness, just a journey told sincerely. Perhaps that's why the reaction from fans was so gentle and empathetic. Many people didn't feel betrayed, but rather, they were able to accept both things at once. Happy for her health and still appreciating the message she had represented for so many years. In a world full of conflicting viewpoints, Chrissy's story shows that sometimes transparency is what makes things clearer and easier to understand. Rebel Wilson's story deepens the dialogue about body image and beauty standards. It's not just about the numbers on the scale, but also offers insight into how the entertainment industry operates behind the scenes. For years, Rebel captivated audiences with her comedic roles, where her appearance wasn't hidden but became an integral part of her character's identity, particularly in the Pitch Perfect series. She brought confidence, powerful energy, and the ability to transform what were once considered imperfections into unique and irreplaceable hallmarks. However, behind that success lies a rarely discussed paradox. According to her memoir, Rebel faced invisible pressure from the very industry that propelled her to stardom, where her image, roles, and even contract terms were tied to a specific version of her. Hollywood both exploited that physique to build her brand and maintained stereotypes, making change anything but simple. It's a system where differences are celebrated, but also framed. As Rebel embarked on what she called the Year of Health, things began to change. Her physical transformation was dramatic and quickly garnered media attention. Initially, she shared that she focused on lifestyle adjustments and building healthier habits, and that received widespread support. Later, Rebel candidly admitted that supportive methods, including weight loss medication, played a part in this process, not as a miracle, but as part of a larger picture of self-care. What makes the story thought-provoking isn't the physical transformation, but the contradiction she faced. An industry that had successfully built upon her old image was now quickly praising her newfound change. And it is at that intersection that Rebel doesn't just change her appearance, she breaks free from the mold that had defined her. The story, therefore, is no longer about weight loss, but becomes a journey of redefining personal value amidst external expectations. Ultimately, what remains isn't a new beauty standard, but honesty in telling her own story. Today's audience isn't necessarily looking for perfection, they're looking for truth. And by confronting her journey head-on, Rebel Wilson shows that sometimes it is this very honesty that creates the deepest and most lasting connection. Meghan Trainor's story has always captivated audiences, not only because she's a global musical phenomenon, but also because her journey is filled with subtle contradictions, that keep the public enthralled. Meghan rose to fame with her hit song, All About That Bass, a powerful message that spreads the message. Everybody deserves to be loved. The song quickly became the voice of millions of young people, echoing from classrooms to social media, as a reminder that you don't need to change to be good enough. For many teenagers who struggled with body image issues, Meghan was more than just a singer. She was a living inspiration, offering hope and comfort. Beyond music, she actively supported the self-love movement, participated in activities guiding young people towards positive self-image, and shared her views in interviews. However, over time, her appearance began to change noticeably. Fans noticed, discussed, and asked many questions. Finally, Meghan shared on a podcast that she and her husband had used weight loss supplements after experiencing health issues, helping her lose about 27 kilograms. She emphasized that this was the right decision and that she had never felt healthier. It was a personal, sensible, and commendable choice. However, for those who grew up with All About That Bass as a statement of body confidence, this change still creates an indescribable feeling. A quiet gap between the message they once believed in and the current reality. It doesn't diminish the love or respect for Meghan, but it serves as a reminder that each individual's path, even for global icons, involves private and complex decisions that the public rarely sees in full. Amy Schumer's story is much more layered and in many ways very relatable and authentic. Throughout her career, she cultivated an image that was the complete opposite of the perfect standards Hollywood imposes on women. Amy's appeal didn't lie in her polished appearance, but stemmed from her honesty, awkwardness, and everyday nature. She transformed her flaws into inspiration for laughter, creating a unique comedic style. This is evident in I Feel Pretty, where the core message wasn't about changing one's appearance, but about changing one's self-perception. Amy also refused excessive retouching for magazines, wanting women to see their normal bodies, not distorted by unrealistic standards. Therefore, when she publicly revealed her experience with weight loss pills, attention immediately focused on her. What was noteworthy was Amy's account. The side effects left her tired, nauseous, and struggling to maintain her daily routine and care for her son. The post was later removed, but the story continued to spread. In addition, some information about her past cosmetic procedures was brought up, further complicating the public's perception of Amy. However, this isn't a story about contradiction or hypocrisy. On the contrary, it exposes a reality. Even those who dare to challenge beauty standards aren't entirely immune to their pressures. Amy's journey highlights a profound truth. Being true to yourself in a world that constantly demands perfection is never easy, and balancing personal life, image, and societal expectations is always a major challenge. Kelly Clarkson's story has a unique quality, gentle yet leaving a lasting impact. Since winning American Idol in 2002, Kelly has never built her image on perfection. She's loved for her sincerity, approachable personality, and self-deprecating humor. When the media brought up her weight, she didn't shy away, but she also didn't let it define her, responding with her own unique confidence and humor. Her collaboration with Weight Watchers proves that she doesn't hide her health journey, choosing to share it openly and realistically. What's special is how it all unfolded. Not with fanfare or grand pronouncements, but almost quietly, yet clearly visible to millions of viewers. On The Kelly Clarkson Show, viewers noticed the subtle changes gradually emerging, from better-fitting clothes and a slimmer figure to noticeable differences over time. Enough to capture public attention and spark unspoken questions. For a long time, Kelly chose to remain silent. She made no official announcements, nor did she recount her journey like many other stars. Later, she shared that she was taking a prescription medication to help her body process sugar more effectively, a problem she had previously faced. Her way of sharing remained familiar, realistic, calm, without drama or embellishment. It was precisely this quietness that attracted the most attention, not because of the change itself, but because of how it unfolded, slowly, almost silently, like a behind-the-scenes story yet still evident on screen. To the audience, Kelly was always the image of someone like themselves, imperfect, but confident and authentic. Therefore, when the changes became apparent, the public's reaction wasn't criticism or disappointment, but a little bewilderment, a feeling difficult to name, as if something significant had happened that had never been revealed. And sometimes, it is these moments of silence that leave a deeper impression than any explanation. Barbie Ferreira's story is captivating in its own way, not because of what's explained, but because of the questions that remain unanswered. For years, Barbie has been a role model for plus-size women of the new generation. Her role in Euphoria is not just a character, but an icon, a girl learning to assert her self-worth in a world that constantly tries to shrink those who look like her. In real life, Barbie maintains that spirit, speaking out for the right to presence for bodies that don't fit by traditional standards, inspiring many young people to want acceptance without changing themselves. Then, unexpectedly, everything changed. When Barbie appeared on the Victoria's Secret runway, her figure looked noticeably smaller, immediately attracting public attention. Social media instantly erupted in debate. Many awaited an explanation, a story behind the change. But Barbie remained largely silent, neither confirming nor denying, nor delving into the details. It is precisely this silence that makes the story even more compelling. Victoria's Secret has long been a symbol of a specific body standard, almost the opposite of the message Barbie once represented. Her appearance on this runway, without saying a word, seems to bring her closer to the very mold she once challenged. No explanation, no declaration, and sometimes that very silence carries more weight than any answer, leaving the audience to ponder the message, the choices, and the pressures behind the spotlight. Ashley Graham's story has taken many people to the next level, not just because of the transformation, but because of how it resonates deeply with body image and self-worth. For years, Ashley was not just a part of the body confidence conversation. She was almost a living icon. When she appeared on the cover of Sports Illustrated as the first plus-size model, it was not just a personal achievement, but a pivotal moment in the fashion industry. She built her career by celebrating often overlooked bodies, speaking frankly about imperfections, and challenging rigid beauty standards. Her message was clear. Beauty isn't confined to a single size, and bodies like hers deserve to be seen, respected, and to shine. For many women, Ashley was more than just a model. She was living proof that worth doesn't depend on body transformation. But by the end of 2025, things were dramatically changing. On the Victoria's Secret runway, Ashley's figure was noticeably slimmer, her facial features sharper, leading many to estimate she had dropped 6 dress sizes. Immediately, social media was flooded with questions and debates. Ashley explained that it was the result of a healthier lifestyle, a new diet, habits, and supportive smoothies. However, for those who had followed her from the beginning, that explanation struggled to bridge the gap between her before and after images. 6 dress sizes is no small feat, and such a change made it hard for many to believe it all came from everyday habits. At the same time, old videos from America's Next Top Model, where Ashley had openly spoken about the plus-size standard, resurfaced. When compared to her current appearance, the contrast became stark and hard to ignore, and it is at this point that the story becomes complicated. It's not about right or wrong, but about the pause between what was once believed and what is unfolding right before our eyes. A reminder that every human journey, however symbolic, is fraught with challenging personal choices. What do you think about all of this? Share your thoughts in the comments, and if you enjoy analyses like this, don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss the next videos.